Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we are going to be predicting WHYTE versus ITAUMA, the stacked Riyadh season card this weekend, Saturday, August 16th. And yeah, but before we do, make sure you like, subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos. And now, let's get into it. Okay, the first fight on the card is Kais Ashfaq versus Hayato Tatsumi. Now, Hayato Tatsumi is the Ring Magazine ambassador, right? He's an up-and-comer. Turkey Al-Sheikh, Ring Magazine pushing him, giving him these fights. He's in his hardest fight yet, to be fair. He's 7-0. And he's coming into this against a decent level British fighter. Let's be honest, he isn't the best, Kai Ashfaq. It's kind of a fight that Tatsumi should win. But with that being said, you know, Ashfaq's gonna want to get a win here. He is, but he's not got a great chin. He gets knocked down a lot. And I think that'll happen again in this fight. Will it go the distance? Possibly. I can see him getting knocked down a few times though. Possibly a knockout for Tatsumi. Right. I think he's going to blow him out of the water. And yeah, so I'm predicting Tatsumi to win. Probably by decision, but I can also see a knockdown happening in that fight. Up next on the card, we've got Raymond Ford taking on Abraham Nova. Now this fight, it was meant to be Ray Ford versus Anthony Kakache. That would have been a much better fight. But things happen, injuries happen. And this is still a decent fight. And Ray Ford, obviously, great American super featherweight fighter. Nova, decent fighter. It's still a good matchup for short notice. Puerto Rican fighter, Abraham Nova. It's a decent matchup. It is a decent matchup. Of course, Nova is looking for a big win in this fight, and if he beats Ford, that is definitely a big win, and that is definitely going to be a step up, and he's going to get huge fights if he manages to do that. Of course, Ford, he could be overlooking him. He could be overlooking him. I don't know much about this Nova. I haven't really watched many of his fights, but there's a chance Ford could be overlooking him. Of course, he seems like he's not as bothered. Of course, it's not as hard a fight, and for fighters, if they just feel like they've got an easy fight, they're not going to be as up for it as they would be for an Anthony Kakache, which that was a great fight. I hope it still happens, because it's very unfortunate that that didn't go ahead. But yeah, I'm going for Raymond Ford to win, though, of course. Like, he's got to win. Like, come on. He's a world level fighter. He's a great fighter. I mean, he took Nick Ball all the way, and that was a close fight. I did think Nick Ball won it though, but it was a close fight. So yeah, I think Ray Ford gets the win. I don't think it'll be by knockout though. I think it will go to decision. I'm pretty sure it's a 12-round fight. I think this Nova guy could turn out to be decent though, and if he does something in this fight, there's a chance we could be seeing him again on these stacked cards. But I am going to say Raymond the Savage Ford to get the win. Okay, now, this is where the card gets very, very juicy. These next 3 fights are going to be great fights, great British fights. Yeah, great British fights involve fighters who are wanting to become the next big thing, and some are, to be fair. So let's go. The next fight we're predicting is Filip Hrgović versus David Adelaide. Now, Hrgović is a good fighter. He is world level. He's not world champion level. He's not elite, but he is world level. And Adelaide, he's British level. He could be higher. Maybe like, You know, the heavyweights don't usually go for these European. If you're better than British, you go for the world level. And Adelaide, you know, coming off a win against DKV, controversial, which may be a reason why he does lose this fight because, you know, TKV, in my opinion, was winning the fight. You know, it was close, but TKV was winning. And then, obviously, the ref says break. And then Adelaide throws the shot, which knocked down TKV. And then the ref counts it. And then as a result, TKV, he does get up. But, you know, after a shot like that, how do you expect to carry on? But I do think Adelaide is a good fighter. But Hrgović, man. Hrgović is such you know, he's so durable, and I think he's just gonna run through Adelaide. He could even knock him out. I don't want him to. I want Adelaide to win because I just think Adelaide, you know, he can become the next big thing. But I don't see it, man. I don't see it. I think Hrgović wins this fight. And then Hrgović could land a big fight now because he's coming off a win against Joyce. You know, he lost to Dubois, but losing to Dubois, it's not the worst thing in the world, right? Because Dubois is a great fighter. He got a win against Hrgović in April, and now he gets a win here. I think he deserves a fight, maybe against, I don't know, a Caballero, maybe, or, you know, maybe like a Bacoli, I don't know, but against a good world level fighter. And Hrgović, you know, he could be going for the world title again. But yeah, I think Hrgović wins. I don't know if he knocks him out. I don't know. I don't want him to. But Hrgović definitely wins this fight. Okay, now it's time for the co-main event. Nick Ball, Britain's only world champion currently, taking on #1 contender Sam Goodman. This is a good fight, right? Nick Ball, great fighter to watch. He is the only world champion the only British fighter who is a world champion now. And, you know, it's kind of surprising, but he is such a good fighter. But is he overlooking Sam Goodman? Potentially. Look, Goodman 20-0, #1 contender, Australian. He was meant to fight Nayo anyway. He couldn't fight. He had to pull out twice due to injury. And yeah, I just think that Nick Ball should get the win. Right, he seems like he's not really looked at Sam Goodman, but I think he's confident, and I think he will get the win. And I think Nick Ball has to go for higher opposition now against other champions. Obviously, the Inouye fight is the fight that everybody wants. At least in the UK, everybody wants him to fight Inouye. But there is a bit of a weight difference, but, you know, a fight that big, you can cut down for that. You can fight him. Inouye is a good fighter, but I'll be rooting for Nick Ball for sure. I'll be rooting for him. But in terms of this fight, you can't overlook any fighter. But I do think he gets the win. Probably by decision. You know, but he does knock his opponents down and out sometimes. So yeah, I think Nick Ball wins. I will probably say by decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if he knocked him out. And yeah, Nick Ball wins. And now let's move on to the huge main event. Okay, Moses ITAUMA versus Dillian Whyte. Big fight, the headline act. And yeah, is Moses ITAUMA just going to run through Dillian? Is it a mismatch? Right? When the fight first got announced, I thought, yeah, it is probably a mismatch. Come on, ITAUMA's been wrecking through everyone. But now that it's fight week, Dillian's in good shape, and I do think Dillian is up for it. I do think he's up for it. Is that enough? I don't know. Because look, Dillian Whyte, veteran, he's fought, you know, your Furies, your Ages. He's lost, but he does have good wins, right? He has wins, you know, against Parker. He's got wins against, you know, the likes of, you're world champions now, you know, like, he does have good wins, right? And he was a good fighter, but he's old now. Is he shot? I mean, I don't know. I think he's up for this more than like the Tete fight, more than um like his previous fights, because I think like he wants it, right? If he wins this, he could get a fight against Parker. You know, he's gonna get a big fight. He is gonna get a big fight, so he will be up for it. But with that being said, Moses ITAUMA is, you know, everyone is saying he's the future great. He hasn't had a main event yet, so I feel like whether with Dillian White, he knows this. Like he's been here before. He's fought in like Wembley Stadium, sold out 90,000. He's been there. Whether it's ITAUMA, he's getting loads of interviews. It's, as I'm recording, it's Wednesday, so you know he's not even halfway through fight week yet. Could by Saturday that have an effect on him? Possibly. I think we could be in for a shock. We could be in for a shock. It would be crazy if Dillian White was to put away Moses ITAUMA. I think that's how big Dillian White is as an underdog. But with that being said, I think ITAUMA will win. I do think he will win. Will he knock him out? I don't know. I think he's got to. He's got to, right? If he wants to become top level, like, if he wants to fight Usyk, he's got to clean out Dillian White in, like, less than 4 rounds. I don't think he should fight Usyk, but if he does clean him out in 4 rounds, I guess you make the fight, right? Because in some ways after that, I mean, we'll talk about this after the fight. We'll do a full event review. But in some ways, it's like, I mean, come on. Like, if he's just chinned Dillian White, Turkey LC wants him to fight Usyk. Just make the fight happen. But, you know, we're really going to see how good ITAUMA is this weekend. We really are going to see. Because we've seen him chin, you know, Mike Ballion, Dempsey McKee. But this is different. This is a good fighter, a known fighter, a fighter who's up for it. On the pay-per-view stage, we're going to find out how good Moses ITAUMA is. And I do think he'll win, because it'd just be shocking if White won. I'm a bit rooting for Dillian White a bit, but I also do want, you know, heavyweights to come through and be good fighters, you know, and have personalized. I don't know if they will, but I do think ITAUMA wins. I do think he wins, but a bit me is rooting for Dillian White. A bit me is rooting for him. But yeah, probably if ITAUMA was to win by knockout, it'd be in like less than 6 rounds. But he could, you know, take him to deep wars, and ITAUMA will thrive in the deep wars. But we're gonna see. We're gonna find out, man. We're gonna find out what ITAUMA's all about. And then after the event, we're gonna talk about it. Either a shocking Dillian White win, or an ITAUMA blowout, or a close fight. And if it is a close fight, then I don't think you give ITAUMA Usyk. I think you've got to build him up more. And yeah, but if he's really going to be this top level star, he's got to knock out White. He's got to do it. But will he? That's the big question. We're going to find out this Saturday. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great, great event. DAZN pay-per-view, obviously. Is it worth pay? I think it is. I, personally, as a boxing fan, it is worth pay-per-view. But maybe to the casuals, I don't know if it will do that well. But I don't know. Anyways, thank you for watching. Enjoy the event if you are watching. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.